Let's take a look at an application problem here. It says the fixed cost for manufacturing one type of stereo system are $96,000 with a variable cost of $80 per unit. In other words, you have to pay $96,000 for the setup, to change the plant around, I'm guessing. And then you're going to charge $80, and then it's going to cost you $80 for every additional stereo you make after that to figure out how much you need to budget for. So the total cost, f of x, of making x stereos is given by this equation, 96,000 plus 80x. First question, explain why the inverse function exists. Well, if I take a look here, my function is linear, isn't it? And so I know, since it's linear, it passes the horizontal line test, so I know every linear function has an inverse. Now explain what f inverse, then find f inverse of x. So let's find f inverse of x. So I'm going to go through my steps again. So I'm going to say y equals 96,000 plus 80x. I'm going to flip my x's and y's around. So x equals 96,000 plus 80y. Let's get y by itself. So I'm going to subtract 96,000 from both sides. So then we get x minus 96,000 equals 80y. I'll divide both sides by 80. So then I'll say y equals x minus 96,000 all over 80. So then I'll write in my inverse notation. So I'll say f inverse of x equals x minus 96,000 divided by 80. Now, what do f inverse and x represent in the inverse of the function? Well, remember, we're flipping the x and y around. Since my total cost in my function was f of x, x is going to represent the total cost. So x represents the total cost. And f inverse of x is giving me the number of stereos. We just flip the x and y's around. Now, in example 9, what restrictions, if any, should be placed on the domain of x in f inverse of x? Well, if we go back to original function, you can't have a negative number of stereos or a negative number of, or a negative amount of money to manufacture them. So I'm going to say that my restrictions are the domain of each function must be greater than 0. We get that more from the application than we do from the equation. And they have to be integers also, don't they? Because you can't have a part of a stereo. So now on example 10, it says find the number of stereos made if the total cost was $216,000. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace f inverse of x. I'm going to replace x with 216,000 to find f inverse of x. So I'm going to say f inverse of x equals 216,000 minus 96,000. We'll divide that by 80. Well, 216,000 minus 96,000, whoa, gives me 120,000. So I'm going to take 120,000 I'll divide that by 80, which is really, I'm going to take 12,000 divided by 8 then, really, is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to get 1,500 stereos. So they could manufacture 1,500 stereos, so if they budget that much. And there we have it.